When I joined the tech space 4 years ago, I never knew that it was going to be an industry of interest the way it is now in Nigeria. Some people were intentional about joining the tech space, some people just found themselves working in tech. So I'm about to tell my story about how I joined the tech space, and then you can figure out where I fall under. Now, I'm going to start from the very beginning because it transcends. You get to see how one event in my life kind of tailored every other thing for that. So back in uni, right, I studied mechanical engineering, a 5-year course, and during your 4th year you have a compulsory 6 month IT that you have to go for, and in this IT you get to work in a mechanical engineering company, sort of a means where you get some experience, you get to know what you're going into when you graduate, right? So I worked in a refinery. Working in that refinery just made me know that, you know what, after school, this is not for me. I almost lost my life. Working in a refinery was really strenuous. It wasn't fun, it wasn't what I wanted, it wasn't what I envisioned. So I just told myself, girl, this is not for you. I made up my mind there and then that you're not going to further this in any way when you graduate. And that was it. Mind you, while I was in school, I had a business, right? I have always been like entrepreneurial. I was running an event management company, where we provide ushers, bouncers and the likes, and the business was doing well. To be honest, I was quite proud of myself. Like, I made good money, and mind you, my parents were providing for my needs, so all that money was excess. I didn't have what to do with it because my needs were covered. Thank you, mom and dad. Anyway, so I wondered, since I have this excess money, I would like to invest this money. I would like to look for ways to make this money make more money for me. And before that, at the age of 10, I was a chronic saver. If you give me 5 naira, I'm saving the 5 naira. I won't touch it. It was bad when you save to the extent that it's chronic. That was me. So of course I started looking for ways to invest my money, and that was how I became exposed to personal finance. The more I learned, the more I practiced, the more I loved the idea of personal finance. And I'm like, people have to know all that, and that is why this YouTube channel started anyway. But that's by the way. So I started investing, blah blah blah, and all that good stuff. And then I graduated, and I did my NYSC. Prior to my NYSC, because when you graduate you don't do NYSC straight. NYSC, you can Google it, is a compulsory 1-year program that you have to partake in after you graduate if you want to get jobs here in Nigeria. Prior to that, I did a postgraduate program. At the time it was 3 months. I think the program name was EduBridge, and in that program, like, they get to teach you like finance related stuff. We had people from the Big Four come to teach us, Big Four being KPMG and the likes. They came to teach us finance related stuff, financial analysis, blah blah blah, and all that good stuff. And because I was part of that program, we were able to go for a program that a certain big finance company hosted. The company at the time was FMDQ. We went for a 1-week program. Like, we were going to FMDQ for 5 days straight. I think it was either 1 week or 2 weeks, I can't even remember. And they were teaching us finance related stuff as well, and we got certifications. So I was this close to not going for that FMDQ program, but my best friend kind of gingered me, and we both went for the program, right? And that was how I got to know about FMDQ. Fast forward to NYSC times. There are 2 things for NYSC. You can sit down, cross your legs, and wait for the government to give you placement, or you can get placement for yourself. And I knew that I didn't want to waste my 1 year. First of all, I didn't want to do NYSC, but it was compulsory. And I just told myself, I'm not going to waste 1 year of my life to be placed somewhere, maybe in school, to go and teach or something. I wanted that 1 year to actually count. And at the time, mind you, I was pro entrepreneurship. I still am. I was pro entrepreneurship. I said, I want to further my event management business. I want to do my IT with some certain top events planner, blah blah blah. And my parents were like, you know what, you can always do events planning. Just try and work in a good company, a big company. And at the end of the day, you can choose whether you want events planning or you want to work in 9 to 5. So after much talking to, it kind of made sense. And I'm like, you know what, okay, no problem. If I'm not going to do my NYSC in an events company, the next thing I want to do is work in a company that has something to do with finance. That was it. It was either finance or nothing. And of course, I was lost. I didn't know where to go from. I didn't have anybody, and I didn't just know what to do. I even had some potential placement in other engineering companies. But I told myself, I can't do engineering. Like, let me not deceive myself. So a friend of mine sent me a flyer. So at the time, I used to go to a lot of events. I always went to for like career events, networking. I lived for all those kind of things before COVID. So he sent me a flyer, and that flyer was for an event that was happening the next day. And if you know me, you know I don't like last minute stuff. If you want me to go somewhere, just tell me like maybe a week before or something. When I took a look at the flyer, I saw that okay, the CEO of FMDQ was going to be there. Some also finance companies are going to be there. So I had to come up with a strategy that if I go for this event, I would see the CEO of FMDQ, and I would kind of tell him that, let me do NYSC in your company. There was already a common ground for conversation. I was going to bring up the 1 week event I had in FMDQ, start that conversation and stuff. So I went there. Eventually, I went there after dragging my feet. And after the whole event, there was like exhibition where companies were exhibiting on their stands, and I saw the CEO of FMDQ, and I went up to him after much courage and talking to myself and everything. I walked up to him, and what I told him? I was like, sir, I attended your event, the 1 week program, yada yada. And I asked him a question. I said, oh, I just graduated and I studied mechanical engineering, but I am looking to transition to finance. What's your advice? What do you think I should do? He said, you know what? Work in a finance startup, and that once I do that, it will be easy to transition into bigger companies and the likes. I said, okay, makes sense. At that point, I won't say the conversation was really a success, but I just took it as it is. And obviously my goal of working in FMDQ didn't really turn out as I wanted to, but I took it. And just like on the right side, on the left side of both of us having that conversation, I saw a stand, and I saw investment, I saw stocks, I was like, okay, investment stocks, let me go and see what's going on. And I went there and I started talking to the person I saw there, and I let him know that, I am looking for an NYSC placement. I studied engineering, but I'm looking to transition to finance, blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, okay, that there's no big deal, that him as well, he studied engineering, but look at him here in finance as well, that I should just contact him after the event. I took his email and we started sending emails back and forth, and that was how I got my NYSC placement. I later found out that all this while I was even talking to the CEO of the startup, and that startup happened to be one of the first stocks trading platforms here in Nigeria. And that was how your girl joined fintech. Just like that. Was I intentional? I was intentional about working in finance. Whether it was tech or what, not tech, at that point I didn't know what that was. It was later on I got to find out, oh, I'm working in fintech. But that was it, and that has been it since then. You know, there's this notion that people think if you're in the tech space, you're either doing engineering, you're either coding or something. But there are a lot of opportunities in the tech space that do not require coding. And that's why in my next video I'll be talking about how you can get a job in the tech space, and we'll take it up from there. So see you in that next video. Bye.